The title of this podcast is this still the show? If you've heard me speak before at Mayo Clinic where I work, especially to the first time that I come into a group or a department, I share about Keith 1.0 transformation or journey to becoming 2.0. 1.0 is where my behavior was dictated by a lot of default reactions of being negative, being angry, resisting change, being completely identified with my ego, or just a few things, ruminating, obsessive thinking, being a perfectionist. My life was very much, dictated by that kind of behavior or symbolic of that kind of behavior. And I go on to tell about how I had an event happen that served as a rock bottom moment to move through life differently, to work on myself, and hence the jersey behind me symbolizes that with which was a gift from a group that I work with at Mayo Clinic. And it's going from Keith 1.0 to 2.0, which is how I try to show up now, to show up in every space, sprinkling kindness and with an open heart, to not see that there's a problem out there in the world, but rather work on myself so I can handle whatever happens in the world, to choose paths that lead to inner peace as opposed to doing things or holding thoughts that result in suffering, personal suffering. So at the end of my presentation at Mayo Clinic, I talk about how blessed we are to be working at a place like that. And I talk about we're at the show. So I go on to say that you've been this minor league baseball player that has been holding on to this dream to play in the major leagues, the big leagues. And you have gone from town to town playing ball, sometimes 3 or 4 games each time, getting on the bus, going from these dusty towns, getting off, coughing as the exhaust blows into your face, spending, the night in motel rooms with 4 or 5 other athletes with their socks, their dirty socks and uniforms, filling the space, and how you put up with this or you endure this because you have this dream, this goal of making it to the big leagues. In this case, the big leagues is Mayo Clinic. And one day, after all those years of, grinding away, working away in the minor leagues, you get a phone call. And that phone call is an invitation to come join the staff at Mayo Clinic, to contribute your and lend your talents and your creativity, your artistry to Mayo Clinic's mission. And so you show up that day after carrying your bags everywhere in the minor leagues, and they greet you at the front door and they tell you to put your bags down. You don't carry your bags here. You're at the show. Welcome to the show, which in this case is Mayo Clinic. In the grand scheme of things, the show is life. So over the last few years, I've noticed, or what has happened at Mayo Clinic is we've lost a lot of talent. A lot of people have moved on for one reason or another. And a part of me, my heart, has experienced loss. And my personal mind has been challenged with trying to make sense of it. And I have the practice, and my practice is to observe my heart feeling that way, to have compassion from my mind, which is troubled over and then trying to figure it all out, and to say no comment to both my heart and mind so that we can stay focused on all the good that is present at Mayo Clinic in the face of colleagues no longer being there, and in the face of not understanding why they're no longer there, but practicing acceptance. Along the way, as I've worked on doing this, I have been kind of aware of not feeling like it's exactly the show at Mayo Clinic anymore, which is been a challenge. I still go in, sprinkling kindness, getting myself together before I go to work every day, trying to bring my best, trying to be a contribution to the space and being servant at all times. Like that's still occurring. And while that's occurring, I'm aware of my heart and mind being unsettled. So most recently, I was invited to come and do the well-being portion of an employee orientation that we do about twice a month. We're hiring a lot of people at Mayo Clinic as we are on this growth trajectory. And in it, we are sharing about Mayo Clinic's values, its mission, uh, the ample benefits and rewards that come with being an employee at Mayo Clinic, and most importantly, how you have been chosen or accepted upon your application to Mayo Clinic to be a part of this work. And the people that participate in welcoming these new colleagues to Mayo Clinic are really passionate, enthusiastic about it. And the people that are these new colleagues are also excited about this opportunity. So as I'm getting up there and I'm telling people about all the well-being resources and support that are there to support the health of our staff, I'm aware that my mind is saying, is this still the show? And what helped me was to recognize or to remember that the show is not out there. The show is in here, it's within me. So wherever I go, I have the capacity to create the show for others. Whether the place that I am is doing it differently or from how they've done it in the past, or there have been some changes, I still have an opportunity to create the show for other people and for myself. So if there's a unit that is understaffed or they've lost key people that have been there for years, you can't control those things. But what I can control is that the show is within me, and I have an opportunity to share the show with other people. And so as I got up to speak to these new colleagues, I brought that knowing, that understanding with me. And hopefully I was able to impart that. And equally importantly, I was able to walk away with this deep knowing that the show isn't out there. It's in here, in my community, in my neighborhood, in our country, to where people have fall on different sides of the political spectrum. The show isn't out there. The show is within you. So wherever you go, welcome people to the show. The show that includes sprinkling kindness, being open-hearted, being unconditionally loving, and having a servant attitude.